We are Susie and Martin, longtime Seattle residents who normally travel out of state for the summer. But this summer, we stayed closer to home and did 7 summer weekend road trips from Seattle. Join us as we explore some of the best of Washington state, including Mount St. Helens, the Hoh Rainforest, Mount Rainier, the Olympic Peninsula, Mount Baker, and more. This is the Gifford Pinchot National Forest. Located in southwest Washington state, it encompasses over 1.3 million acres and includes Mount St. Helens, best known as the deadliest volcano eruption in U.S. history. For the next few days, we'll be exploring this forest for the very first time. Come along with us. We have found our campsite for tonight.
That's right, we are camping this time, and we're not huge campers or anything, but we did decide to come, and we drove over 4 hours from Seattle and entered the Gifford Pinchot forest or something like that.
I like to call it the Pinocchio forest because I don't know how to say the name.
Right, and we're actually short on light, so we have to get busy with the tent. We just bought it, so we don't know how to do it, so we need to open it.
We halfway know what we're doing.
I guess we should explain that it wasn't that easy to get a camping spot, and we had to come and everything was reserved. We decided to come to this late and we had to look for first come first serve, and we left after work, so that meant we could have gotten nothing.
Yes, it's a Friday and we decided 2 days ago, I think, that we were going to come and do this camping trip.
Well, good morning. Not exactly off to a good start here this morning. We had everything ready here to make coffee. We have our AeroPress, we have the grinder, the beans, and we have a stove, the Jet Boil by MSR, and it wouldn't work. Last time it worked, and the only time it worked, the first time, and this time I would turn it on and it wouldn't let gas out, so it wouldn't start, and then it must have gotten loose because the gas came out and then I sparked it and then it caught on fire with the whole canister and everything. So now that's the remainings of our stove. So long story short, it exploded at like 7 a.m. There was a big explosion in the campground and no one caught on to it seems, because no one came running to ask us what the hell we did. Oh yeah, the canister flew all the way here. And here's the canister, around 15-20 feet from the fire, where luckily I threw the whole stove and the canister while they were burning. Our plan for coffee and food is ruined, so now we need to adapt and improvise. But hey, the night was nice, the tent did well here, we woke up warm and dry.
It's a good lesson in carrying backups, I think, because we do have an alternate stove and we probably should have brought that stove.
I'm pretty sad. I thought the stove was a really good one and it totally failed us and then exploded. Well, like we said, we're adapting and improvising, and we made it down to the gorge where there's a coffee shop and we're getting coffee and breakfast this way.
That's right. At least we have options, it turns out. We're not in the total wilderness, which is working in our favor right now. So we realized as well that we've now tried, this is our 3rd time, right? Trying to make coffee at camp. And each time there's been something that went wrong. The first time we ran out of gas. The second time we actually forgot the whole water boiler. And the 3rd time our gas exploded. Oh yeah, look at that. Our road trips all tend to start off with something going bad on the first day. So, but the thing is, something goes bad and we always overcome and things get better.
We just came and a dog came and chased out a flock of geese. There it is. So we came to the Columbia River Gorge, which is really gorgeous. It honestly deserves its name.
It wasn't our plan to come here, but we've been here before it's really nice to see it. But yeah, it wasn't quite the plan, but since we had to get coffee, might as well stop.
Well, we have a little explaining to do because yesterday we arrived late and we couldn't film very much and vlog and tell you what this is about. We came to the Gifford Pinchot Rainforest because it's one that is farther from Seattle, so it's seldom explored from Seattle. It took us over 4 hours to get there and it was very dark, and in the morning we hit the fail with the stove exploding, and so all that distracted us a bit from the mission, which is to film a lot of waterfalls and also to look for the comet.
This is actually the last weekend that the comet Neowise is visible before it's gone for like 6,000 years. So, and it's supposed to be really clear, should be really great weather. We're in a really great location for it. So fingers crossed that works out tonight. But if not, the Milky Way will be out. So we'll at least get that.
We just set off on another trail and it leads to a waterfall. And that's why we chose to come here. There are many really cool waterfalls in this park. Found a creek. You want to peek at the creek?
That is chilly. Yeah, ice cold.
So far, very pleasant trail. It's a magical forest once again.
Really dry, really flat. This bridge looks like the scariest thing so far.
One-person bridge, though. Behind me looks like a dry riverbed, which probably comes alive in the winter and spring when it's raining. Now sounds like we're close, starting to roar, and there are giant boulders next to me. It's cool. It's amazing. What's so cool about waterfalls in the northwest is that they're always surrounded by moss. It looks like a fairy tale because all this vapor from the water keeps leaping towards the walls.
That was amazing! I didn't actually know what this one looked like. There's another waterfall which I think we're going to see next, which I do know what it looks like, but this one I didn't have any idea.
We're gonna check out another very good looking waterfall.
It's one of the most well-known in the area, called Panther Creek Falls, and I've seen many photos of it, so I'm super excited about this waterfall.
At first glance you can't quite tell where the waterfalls are. You hear a river, but if you look really hard you'll see a very helpful sign here. I'm just kidding, this is a terrible sign.
So it is about 7:30 right now, so we came later in the day because we thought earlier in the day it was going to be too crowded, and I think we were right. But yeah, it's really close by, really easy to get to, and the views are fantastic.
Made it back from the waterfall. It was too loud to talk, but wow, what a great looking waterfall.
It was absolutely worth the hike. It's a really short hike, and there's actually 2 viewing platforms. There's one up top, but you've got to go all the way down to the bottom to get the full glimpse of the full waterfall. On our last day, we traded in waterfalls for mountains, specifically Mount St. Helens. This is my first time even being this close to Mount St. St. Helens, let alone hiking it. So I'm really excited. I don't really know what we have in store.
So far going at it for about half a mile. We've already gained this much elevation. We're seeing Mount Adams there. I think Mount Rainier that way I saw. And this way is Mount St. Helens. Once we climb, we'll be seeing all three of them. And the reason this hike has so many flowers is that there was a famous volcano eruption here in 1980, Mount St. Helens, where it destroyed the big trees. There was old growth forest here, very big trees, very thick, but they got blown out by a big volcano. So now the undergrowth and flowers are taking over. We came up on a sign that it's a fork and our hike is not on it, but luckily we have downloaded our map with all trails, and here I know that we have to go this way because my GPS works even if there's no internet. The data is local, so we can navigate just fine this way. Interesting place right here. Over there's Mount Adams, and right here is Mount Rainier. So we're starting to get both permanent glaciers in one view already.
It's pretty cool because they both look kind of similar, but there are little differences. When you can see them both in the same frame, you're like, oh yeah, that's how Rainier is different, that's how Adams is different.
You learn them more intimately here. For now, we're going up and up, and we're going all the way up on top of that ridge and beyond. Another intersection at the 2-mile marker. This one does tell us which way our mountain is.
We are indeed about 2 miles, so it's now the 4, and we still have that stunning view of Mount Adams. And we're up top, so it's nice and cool. The breeze is here. Great place to pause for a minute.
Mount Margaret, this way. He's named after my mother, how nice. Oh, there's St. Helens around the corner. Oh man, this is the coolest part because now, oh, and the lake, yes. This is amazing. The reason I picked this trail is this lake and this mountain are your closest subject actually. So you keep on walking the crest above them in a way, not above really because that's higher, but near them.
I didn't know there was a lake here.
Yeah, it's a cool
That's
lake.
a big one.
And so much petrified wood in it. Almost stumbled upon a snake, and it was stubborn and wouldn't want to move off the trail, and as soon as I pulled the GoPro off, it ran away.
I love you. You take care of snakes for me so I don't have to see them.
As long as they don't come around from behind.
Stop it!
Alright, so go fast. The good news is these snakes are not poisonous. However, if they do bite you, it hurts and it itches and it's nasty. Well, here's a little precarious. It's not the worst drop if you fall, but you'll still be damaged. It's really crumbly and you really gotta watch it. The trail barely exists in some of these parts. Right here, drop. You gotta make sure nothing weighs you down on the outside. This is bad. You gotta lean into it and use the foothold. There's only one. Yeah, this should be fine.
My legs aren't long enough.
Yeah. Okay, you got it. This was the hardest part. And then this clears up. That was more dangerous than the snake. I wonder what's around this corner. Nothing. You gotta wait for another corner, never mind. One more fork, lakes are around us if we wanted to hike another 1,000,000 miles. Incredible here. Quite a steep slope we're on, but the switchback style helps us. And the whole slope is flowers. It's a bit deceptive climbing because you look at something, it looks really close, and it may be actually creasing up and down by the end, and 3-4 hours later you're still doing it. break time. It's on the 3rd mile. So we're quarter in and we're getting tired. So now we're no longer that fresh and naive.
So we have St. Helens there. We now are seeing a little peak of Mount Hood.
In Oregon, that's Oregon over there.
Yeah, that's Oregon. And behind this hill, I think if we keep going, we'll eventually see Adams too. And then right there is Mount Rainier.
The big one.
Yeah.
That's the big brother of them all.
That's so cool. We usually see it from the other side, actually, from Seattle.
Overall, we'll make it. We're replenishing our water right now.
Yep.
And we're seeing patches of snow. If I can reach them, I'll fill this bottle here that Susie has, and we'll leave it in the sun to melt and get some water that way.
We're almost there.
Not almost there. We're halfway there.
It's how you look at it. I look at it as almost there. You gotta keep your morale going, you know?
I'm the realist around here.
I guess so.
Notice the amount of flowers here. This is the trail. And then you raise your head and you see a volcano that erupted only 30 years ago.
This is like one of the best hikes, I think.
Yeah.
It's just looking at awesome mountain peaks like the entire time. Hiking through wildflowers.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this tree, this gnarly tree.
Got
cool.
blasted by the volcano.
Wow.
I learned to hike with my grandma when I was 5 years old, and she would take me out and she would pick wildflowers. So to this day, when I'm out and I see and I smell the flowers, and it reminds me of my grandma and my hometown and the forest. Oh, it's Rufus. Yeah, it's Rufus right there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a gorgeous trail.
Well, we were hoping for snow so we can drink it, and we actually have to walk on it a bit here too. It's already melting and making pure water. Let's see how much we sink in it. Not at all, really. Fun times. I'll finish my water because there's a source, and we'll show you a trick. This water just literally melted right there, so probably it's clean. However, there's still flies and larvae and things living around here. So what we're gonna do is make sure it's cool. The life straw, which they say is award-winning, and I believe it because it really is a savior. Look there. Oh my god, it's so delicious.
I wasn't expecting to find water. They warn you up front that you won't find water, so we were kind of rationing up until this point. But when you find water, you're like, okay, fine, like we can hydrate properly and feel better about that whole thing.
Sweet. And now the top doesn't look that scary anymore. It's less than 2 miles away. We'll be good. Almost there, Mount Margaret, 1 mile. What you see down the gray, it looks like snow or something, mud or something, ground soil, but it's actually petrified wood from the explosion. 40 years ago it's been in this lake and it's petrified, so it's not rotting.
We made it! Almost.
Almost. One more fork in the road. Until now, the entire time we've been following this boundary trail, and here finally for the last stretch there's a little split for Mount Margaret, which is really this is Mount Margaret right there. The last part is a bit steep and it crumbles. Mount Rainier, also 4th glacier. Technically that is the summit, but I think we can call it good.
One of our coolest hikes I think we've ever done.
Yeah, it's one of the best in Washington for sure, but also among the best in the world.
Yeah.
4 glaciers, a volcano, petrified wood-filling lakes from the explosion. It just doesn't get much better. And the meadows and the flowers. Smells amazing.
We summited! Yay!
It's all us, it's all ours.
Yes, that's right, there's no one else here. It's incredible.
So good.
All ours.
Yeah. We're going down very carefully, slowly, and I have totally entered the state of Zen meditation, completely blanking and simply doing the action. That's really the cheat, how to enter meditation, is just completely focus on what you're doing and do one thing. That's what we're gonna do now. Here we go, we can see our car now. Down there.
It's like what, a mile?
Yeah, more than
The
that.
sign said a mile, but we'll see.
It's more than a mile. You just have to grit your teeth.
We'll make it.
Oh my god, we did it. 5:40. We have walked 11.3 miles, 6 hours and 45 minutes.
We did it! That was tough, but not the worst, honestly. But I'm glad it's done now. Like last weekend, you're like, I think I could do another one.
And not this time.
Nope.
There's a reason you don't see me jumping around rocks this time. I measure.
That's
so
right.
11-ish, 12 miles, not jumping on rocks.
No.
Now it's time to drive home and get a burger.
It's another weekend and we're trying to camp, and we've been waiting. I don't know how long we've been waiting, but someone just told us there's at least 100 cars ahead of us waiting in a single line just to get to the entrance of this park. So it's about 2:19 right now, so it took over half an hour, maybe 45 minutes really, to get to this point, and now we have to go another, what, 5 miles or so to our actual place where we hopefully can find parking so we can finally start our hike. And the new journey begins. The parking lot at the visitor center is definitely full. It's spilling out onto the road. We were lucky enough to actually get a legitimate parking spot, which was good because we are staying a couple nights, so we need to be somewhere legitimate. And now we are setting off looking for the trailhead.
This is the trail.
Yep. And this is why the parking lot's so full, because all of the trails start here.
We have to go 5 miles in with the biggest backpacks ever. I think I've overfilled it, it feels that way.
It looks that way.
So I'm gonna be totally destroyed. So this one is kind of opposite. You destroy yourself at first and then you chill out for 2 days.
And then you destroy yourself again when you come back.
Yes.
So the most popular trail that most people do here is down there, the Hall of Mosses. It's, I think, a 1 mile trail. I've never done it, oddly enough, so I gotta come back and do that one day. But we're actually on the Hoh River Trail, which is, I think, 33 miles long total, but we're only doing 5 miles of it. If you're wondering what that big black thing there is, that's our bear canister, which we can't really figure out the best way to carry that thing in. Hopefully someone can educate us soon. The nice thing is this is relatively shaded and pretty cool, so it's not burning hot, because that would make this 10 times worse.
Huge trees here by the trail.
Well, we've been at it for I think a couple hours now, so we should be getting really close to our campsite. But yeah, wow. Doing this hike is actually really flat and would be pretty easy if we didn't have all this baggage on our shoulders. So that is literally weighing us down right now.
I can't even walk straight without the bag because my body is used to being crunched, like squeezed in. We've done 5 miles.
We're almost there.
Oh.
Yeah, it says 4.9 miles.
We're front loading all the pain and tomorrow we're totally free.
Yeah, you gotta do things that make you hurt. You gotta challenge yourself. And so this is definitely a challenge.
Yes, so if you find someone, slap them because it's good for them.
We're in the final stretch. So yeah, this is actually a nice clearing here. Nice breeze coming through.
I sure feel like a gypsy right now.
Yeah, right?
But more of the Sherpa kind right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes you put things into perspective, like people that, you know, carry everything like this on their backs because they have to. And that's, you know, everything that they own, and we are doing this for fun. It's kind of a interesting thing to think about.
I think we're approaching our campground here.
So pretty.
We have a glorious clearing in the rainforest here.
Yeah. Ooh, water.
And someone's out there.
Nice. Hey,
nice to see you.
Good to see you.
You guys can make it.
Do better without this on my back though.
Yeah, that's true. Ooh, yeah, I like it. Exhausting, but so far worth it. This is gonna be great.
And we're alive, that's what counts.
We're alive.
Amazing campground.
Yeah,
though.
that's gonna be great.
Yeah, right here by the water.
Mm-hmm. So we're putting all of our food inside of the bear canister, even the freeze-dried stuff, because apparently it's not really bears that we need to worry about. It's
I brought my Burberry because I don't want to be smelling like an animal out here for 2 days.
Isn't he such a European? I mean, I don't know if it's, you know, that necessary to put all that stuff in there, but they do say that, you know, the risk that you run is that they'll come through and they smell anything in your bag, they'll like destroy your bag and go through your bag. And you don't want your bag destroyed out here. So better safe than sorry. There we go, set up our tent. We got a really nice spot by the river. It's already getting chilly, so we'll see how cold it gets tonight.
My wife wants me to put the cover on the blade.
It's just good habits, right? Like, he's like, just gonna walk around with the axe just exposed. I'm like, if you have a cover, you should really put the cover on the blade.
Oh, we did in Bulgaria. What is this? You don't see this anywhere except in America.
We're not in Bulgaria now, are we?
Well, a blade is a blade. We need to find some wood now, and hopefully a chair.
Are you looking for something like on the ground?
Here's our new chair. My Go Zero solar panel called Nomad 7, and let's see how it does with this GoPro. Here we go, the GoPro's connected, the red line came on, and we're charging. It's gonna take a while because it's not the most power, but it will work. Stroganoff. Good.
Solar charger did a really great job. It charged from 0% on the GoPro to 94% over, I don't know how long, maybe a couple of hours?
Under 2 hours.
Under 2 hours.
That's
so
amazing.
Not bad. One of the best parts about camping in this area is our proximity to the water. And this is really fresh snow melt water which you can feel when you touch it because it's really cold. But you just come down here and you want to do your dishes clean and so fresh. This is the morning after our first full night of backpacking. I think both Martin and I had some of the best sleep that we've had camping. And you know, that's with our new setups. We're still trying to get used to our sleeping pads, our sleeping bags, and our tents. But yeah, we slept extremely well. And I really think that being out in nature and having that fresh air really helps. Woke up really energized, sleeping by the river, and hearing the river kind of wakes you up really gently in the morning with the sun kind of cascading in, and it's just one of the best feelings. This is the path to our campground that we walked through yesterday. Past these logs, it's also our toilet, our little outhouse. Can't be squeamish out here because you don't get flushing toilets. You get, you know, luckily it's private and there are walls. We've been to some toilets that don't have any walls at all, which is, yeah, you get used to it. Also, don't forget to bring your toilet paper because a lot of them don't have toilet paper. So yeah, make sure you bring some with you.
This is where everybody is nowadays. Hiking through the most magical forest I've ever seen. I'm not sure how amazing it is when you step off the trail here and you're in a pure temperate rainforest that exists almost nowhere on earth except here. It's really amazing. And right now it's at its peak pleasant moment in the late August because otherwise it's very wet. It's one of the biggest trees we've seen so far, and that's like its trunk. Are you ready for this?
That was a big beaver that did this.
Here is really the worst part. And that's how we cross the river. It's a huge obstacle course. And the forest is completely green in every direction and thick. It's just a little trail through it, so you can experience it. It's a full rainforest day.
It feels like the 100-acre wood where Winnie the Pooh lives.
Oh, I don't know that.
Doesn't feel like there are bears around here, but you know, apparently there are.
Mostly there's snakes and elks and deers.
Don't tell me that.
They're little. We found a giant boulder with moss hair growing. It's probably a troll here in the forest. Here's its face. The nose, you see the nose. And eyes up there. This forest of always the most like a fairy tale wonderland forest. Here's the evidence that it's just a giant boulder. It's like a piece of the mountain. We found a little forest ferry bridge. Oh, horses go drink that way and pass, and humans have a little bridge. We reached a clearing in the rainforest where there's another campsite. Truthfully, I actually really like where we're camping. It's one of the best. But some people continue this way and go all the way to a glacier and camp there. It's like 13 miles away. Oh wow. That's the view. And we're on a clearing on the river here, like a beach. So nice. It's a beach you can camp on.
Very cool.
And with a huge clearing here in a mountain. Mountains all around us now.
Incredible. I think what's cool is how the terrain changes so much. You can be on the trail and yeah, you're in like this dense forest that looks like a fairy tale forest, but then yeah, if you go a little bit further off the trail and it just opens up like this, and that's so different than what you would expect based on the trail alone.
Yeah, and it's a rewarding. At first you're like, huh, how can there even be any station out there? But there's a lot of stuff actually here. It's a big place all of a sudden in the middle of the forest. This will be our last point of this hike, and then we go back to lounge at our campground on the 5th mile, and this is on the 9th mile. Huge tree broke here. Like this is us next to the stump, and it's so much bigger. The stump itself that remains is so much bigger than us. This is the tree that fell here. I'm gonna span it a bit. Now I'm on it, and it keeps going. This would be vertical height, what I'm walking right now. That's kind of the incredible part. And it keeps going and going all the way through the forest. We're making it through the magical forest now, leisurely, and it's just outworldly. Amazing hiking here in Olympic National Park. This is probably the best trail of all, depending on what you want, but I think it's the most unique because it's all rainforest. Here there are some incredibly tall trees and huge volume too, and you can look at them all the way up there. So big, and when they fall they're so enormous that there's one lodged right here over us, and that forest is now growing above our heads right there. These are all big trees right here. A
baby forest
in the air.
It's so neat. Yeah, it's so cool. And these are things too, like you have to like, you know, pause and just kind of like acknowledge what you're looking at. I think you can walk right by and not see these things, so it does take a discerning eye of sorts to really appreciate it all.
Yeah, well, what a gnarl. Crazy. Like look at how many there are here.
That texture.
Yeah, how many gnarls are
here.
It's incredible.
That's really cool.
This many. It's like dozens of them. Another giant one lengthwise. Keep in mind we are around half of it. Let's see how long it takes us to finish. It keeps going here. Going, going, going. This is vertical length when it's standing, remember that. So here it's broken, but it's not over. And there's more of another one here where they had to carve out a path.
It's a really nicely maintained trail. There's like one little sketchy part, and I guess there's another sketchy part really far up, but you know, you can pass through just nicely. You can tell that they've been trimming it, and so really nicely maintained.
We have left the place just as we found it, and everything's packed up again.
Alright, so we're ready to do the 5-mile trek back to the visitor center, back to our Jeep, and back to civilization.
That's right, yes.
Because let's be real, we actually had a really great experience. We have one of the best tents, some of the best sleeping equipment and hiking equipment, so we really weren't that off.
Yeah.
The situation.
Alright, one last punishment and we'll spoil ourselves.
Goodbye, lovely campsite. So it's about 9:30 a.m. We're departing camp And the weather right now is really nice. It's just a little cool. Still feels a little wet because it did mist and sprinkle and somewhat rain. It wasn't like a pounding rain, but definitely woke up with our tent pretty wet on the outside. The inside was great, nicely insulated. But now we estimate it'll probably take about 2 to 3 hours to get to the head of the trail. And I'm opening this vlog now while we're fresh, because I'm not sure how much longer we're gonna keep feeling fresh. But so far the environment really helps.
This time we're a little fresher, so we're enjoying the forest a little more even with our bags.
I have to say there's like a recovering aspect of being out in nature, especially if you come out like overnight. You can't quite get the same experience on a day hike. But yeah, when we first walked in, like my shoulders were so tense and had a lot of pain just from sitting at the computer for, you know, weeks on end. And then you come in here for a night, step away from all of that, and your whole body straightens out and you just feel amazing. So it really is that effect of sitting at a desk all day or sitting on the couch all day. Like, that's not our natural form, and eventually our bodies start reacting to that. So if you come out and get back into nature, your body responds pretty quickly.
We did it. It was not easy.
Made it. 11:30. 2 hours.
Nice. It is done.
It's the best feeling after the hike. Boom.
Oh my god.
Take it off.
Oh, we did it.
We did it.
Never felt
We
so
did
good
it.
to see our Jeep.
Right? See, it really makes you appreciate the finer things in life, like not walking around with 20 to 30 pounds. Maybe, did you have 30? 40?
I don't know how many I had.
A lot of weight on your back. Being able to shower, use a flushing toilet, eat a delicious burger,
Yes.
which hopefully is next. So, awesome trail, awesome experience. Thanks for coming along.
The best habitats on this planet are where the beach means the forest and the mountain, and this is exactly what we have here in Washington State. We're looking for a camp once again.
We struck out at the first place we went to, totally full. So hopefully this one will work out for us instead.
Yeah, so the deal is that all the campgrounds in Washington are booked forever out, and only thing that remains is the first comes first serve spots. However, the issue with that is that we have to work on Friday and then we go late. We're out here in the Olympic Peninsula looking for a campsite for tonight.
That's right, and it's like 7:30. About an hour or so till sunset, so hopefully we find this before the sun goes down.
Is this open? Nope, someone's there. Pathfinder. No luck here, so we have to drive an hour away. Yeah, we're in Pinchot or Pinchot, whatever, Washington, and all the camps are full. To be expected. This is late on a Friday night, the worst time to look for a campground.
It's 8:45 p.m. Oops. So wherever we end up, we're gonna be setting up our tent in the dark.
Well, we checked a random little resort with cabins and whatnot, and the guy does have 3 rooms left, and we took one, so there's 2 more. If 2 more people come looking at the late hour, but we'll have a place to sleep.
So we'll be staying here for the night, and we got a tip about where to find a camp spot tomorrow night in the forest. So yeah, this will just be a quick pit stop, and tomorrow we'll get back onto the road and try to actually go camping.
This was a nice stopgap solution to mitigate not finding a campsite. Now we can actually show you where we are with some light on the shores of this beautiful lake on the rainforest. We're looking for the world's largest Sitka spruce. There it is, the world's largest spruce.
Huge. That was 1,000 years old.
You should try to hug it.
I feel a little bad climbing on it
Why?
because it's old.
So, it's very strong. 1,000 years from now, our skin will look this way. But we'll still be making movies. That was really cool. One of the biggest trees ever. They say there are 6 champion trees in this part of the forest, but where we are is the Olympic National Forest, and it's really one of the coolest forests ever. If you ever wanted to see a wonderland magical forest from the fairy tales, this is it.
So we are here to find the Tree of Life, and I've seen photos of it, but I haven't actually seen this for myself, so this is the first time for both of us.
Here it is. It's the most bizarre tree. It's really cool. Normally I'm like, yeah, just some Instagram bullshit, but this is good. What's so cool about this tree is that you can actually be in its root system, as long as, of course, you're not damaging it. But it's so cool. You can see its roots that are eroded. You see, it's an anomaly. It's a miracle that it actually lives with how much of its roots are exposed like this. Very cool tree. It's not just Instagram bullshit, though people coming every second to take pictures. The people coming to make videos are much cooler. We turned and drove 500 meters from the sea, and now we're at the 3rd cool tree on this trip so far.
One of the biggest cedars in the world, maybe the largest. We'll have to confirm that.
Wow, this is so cool. The definition of gnarly. Cedar also smells very good and makes very good lumber and very good fire.
It does, yeah. This is wow. It's not terribly tall, but it is definitely wide, and you can tell it's been around for a long time.
This is one of my favorite forests in the world, if not the favorite. Looks like you can straight up walk into this one. Wow, incredible. We're really deep in the rainforest now. It's completely surrounding us.
So are the mosquitoes.
Yes, and they're making our eyes really red. Thank you, Jungle Explorer.
I am. I'm a total jungle
The best habitats on this planet are where the beach means the forest and the mountain, and this is exactly what we have here in Washington State. The third beach of the day. So what is this mysterious exotic beach? It is Ruby Beach in Washington State. It's one of the coolest beaches.
It's really cool. It's different, you know, it's not like a white sand beach, but you know, that's not really what we're going for here. Instead, it's a little bit rocky, but these rocks that are like really popping up like islands, that's the cool part, I think.
And the mist and the trees right on the beach.
Yeah, there's even a lighthouse out there. I guess we can touch the water. I'm actually curious about how cold it is. People are swimming.
It's cold. Another really cool thing here is the ocean mist smell, and it's mixing with people's fires, which smells really good. And this is the Great Pacific Ocean, the biggest, most impressive thing in the world, really. It's coming.
It's pleasant.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Yeah. It's cold, but it's not like ice cold. Somewhere that this beach gets its name from some ruby-like rocks that sometimes wash up on the shore. I haven't seen any yet, but there are still some really nice little rocks. They're all really smooth and small, and they're fun to play with.
Susie wants to be a rock hound.
I do want to be a rock hound. I need a rock hammer. Consumed by the mist.
Yes, the mist is rolling in hard from the ocean and taking over the whole beach now. It's cool. Here we are walking through the mist on the Pacific Ocean. Ruby Beach. Rarely visited by almost anyone in the world. It's still kind of a secret, but as you can see, Washington people know about it. It's just really hard to get to for tourists. Big clouds of mist are coming. Here's Susie getting taken by the mist.
Meal of the day. It is like 3:15 p.m. but we went and got barbecue.
Brisket in a sandwich and mac and cheese and coleslaw.
Smoked mac and cheese. I like that, just like a hint of smoke in there. It's really good.
It's been a while since we last checked in because it took us forever to find a place to sleep again. Worse this time on a Saturday.
So we were hoping to camp, but we couldn't find any camping spots, and so...
The issue is there are no reservations available up till like November on this whole peninsula. But with all that said, we made it to the beach and got a room. And down here is a place called Dungeness Spit. It's a really cool beach. A little windy right now, but it's really cool, and it's gonna be sunset very soon.
Chilly now, so that the sun has gone away, so I think we're gonna go.
We have a jar of minestrone to cook in the kitchen. the reveal.
All right, well, we checked out of our hotel in Squim that we found at like 9 p.m. last night. No, we found it earlier than that. But it took about 3 hours to find that hotel room because every hotel in Squim and in Port Angeles seemed to be booked, which was incredible. Plus the campsites were all booked. But we found a place to sleep, so that's what's important. And then we got our drive-through coffee and breakfast sandwiches. And after we eat, we'll be on a trail.
We're about to go on a hike called the Grey Wolf Trail in the Olympic Wilderness. So there's the Olympic Peninsula, Olympic National Park, Olympic National Forest, and Olympic Wilderness. This is the wilderness, and different rules apply to each kind of place you are.
Probably the best part so far is that there's very few people here. There was even a local guy that came up and was like, hey, you're not usually this crowded. All the city people are coming. But yeah, so far everybody's really nice, and we'll see how this trail goes. It should be fairly short, only 7 miles round trip.
Yeah.
Short compared to the other ones that we've done recently.
Yeah, and not much elevation, but they say very beautiful, so let's check it. There's the map. It says we finish at the river crossing, we don't have to cross the river.
And another thing about this trail is that it does kind of connect to some of these other trails that go to campgrounds. So it sounds like this is a great place for overnight backpacking, which is probably what we should do if we ever want to camp in this area and not make reservations ahead of time.
There's a little bridge here and a very little creek. Wow, down there straight up rainforest.
So the All Trails reviews, pretty much everyone was like, there are tons of mosquitoes, beware the blood-sucking mosquitoes, and yeah, they're already here.
Already seeing thousands of flowers on the side. A lot of people complained about the encroachment of the flora into the trail, and here's a big branch of nettles going into the trail. I've seen nettles, no joke, go towards like 3 meters high in the northwest, which is terrifying. Wow, I have to say this trail is very thick with foliage. It is a real rainforest, and with that come all the things about rainforest, like the thickness and the bugs and the mud and all that, but it's cool. Here I am on the carpeted rainforest. It's got a full moss carpet. It's so fluffy and so green.
So we started out kind of like in like the woods where we're like, oh, this path is kind of overgrown. And then you kind of go through here and it's like, oh, this is a nice path, a lot wider. You've got moss carpets everywhere. So really great changing terrain.
And we're hearing a river right now, so that's gotta be a big change too. Let's see. I'm trying out these sleeves Susie really likes for either stopping sun or mosquitoes and still being kind of cool.
Don't forget your bug spray around here. You're gonna need it.
We're in the Buckhorn Wilderness from here on. No development allowed. Just this little trail, and you go in and you may sleep, and that's it. And no fires above 3,500 feet, but we're not there yet. The trail splits here, and this may go to the river to take a peek early. Let's see. It's definitely very bushy. Hello. So I guess this is the campsite.
You were correct.
What a fantastic river. This forest is pure magic. It's like you're swimming through plants.
Swimming through grass and bugs.
This is life at its fullest right here. Have you ever seen this much green? I hope the camera does it justice so you can appreciate what we're seeing here. There's a lot of mushrooms all over this forest. These ones look like a fuzzy cheddar cheese. We're very, very deep now. It's so green and dark and overgrown and so many insects. Every second there's one coming for you. So I wouldn't call this an easy hike, even though it's not very long and not much elevation, because it's very narrow and the bushes are right in your face the whole time. It looks like this is where we reach the river and some more campsites.
I think you can go first.
Is there a trail?
I don't know.
There is.
Okay.
We're looking for a place where you cross the river, or you at least spiderweb, or at least a place where you can reach the river so we can fill our bottles and hang out in more open environment where there's probably less mosquitoes. But this here by the river is one of the most beautiful part of it all. Part of the reason I like taking photos and videos is that it gives me excuse to act like a kid again and go really into the forest floor and try to look for details and think of how to present this in the most artistic, mysterious, beautiful way. No reason to stop having that mindset ever. Gorgeous, pristine, and completely green. It's the best water you can have.
If you haven't seen some of our previous hiking videos, this is becoming a trend where we find water on the trail, but we always filter it with the life straw, which is a small little straw that you can use. It fits inside of almost any bottle. It fits perfectly into the hydro flask here, but it filters your water and you can just drink right through it, and you can feel a lot safer drinking fresh water on a trail.
The trail becomes a little crazy here, I'll show you. It's very slippery, hard to step forward here. That was the closest I've come to falling on any trail. That part I did is really slippery, so Susie's gonna have to climb it. Yeah, don't be afraid to hold your weight. There you go. Alright. Coming back's gonna be fun, huh?
Let's not think about that right now.
Trail straight up collapsed over there, too much erosion, and
Down.
I almost fell, like I was so close to falling.
I'm
Really
surprised
close.
you made it through that one.
This may indeed be the end here. I found a little bridge. The hike ends where the crossing is, and beyond that is for basically backpacking, staying overnight. Unless you really want to stretch yourself, but there's no point for us today. So we're looking for where the river crossing is. That's our objective. Amazing crystal clear water here. Here we came up on a barrier to tell you you're not supposed to go that way. So we're sticking to the river. I don't know. This just about ends here. I don't know. Either way, I think we're done. So this is the closest thing to our objective, really. This bridge and this crossing is, I think, is what we're looking for, because we went beyond the distance that was in the app.
We'll call this our objective, and we met our objective.
I think it is actually, and we even surpassed the distance that we set out to do according to the All Trails description. So this is it, and it's really cool here. It's really among the most pristine nature you can ever see, and we always say we're so lucky that our state gives us this opportunity, because you just can't find this in most of the world.
And we're not even that far from the coast. We started this whole trip with the intention of being on the beach and the coast, and it was too crowded, so we're so lucky that we were like, hey, we can go into the wilderness and no crowds here.
We reached this collapsed part again.
Alright, how are we doing this?
I'll show you how to go down in this way. See, and you can do it even going that way, maybe even easier with both hands. And then grab there, yes, you got it. You're good, you're good. Keep going along that tree with your hands. Easy. You're out of the wilderness. We're almost out of the woods, literally. It's been a good one. I like this one. Very lavish, very lush, green rainforest hike. A little tiring, not the least tiring.
A little. I am so sweaty.
It's humid in there.
Yeah, that really got to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, time for some water.
And then we'll do a killer drive down the coast and find some lunch. So we got fish and chips over here, and a burger turned into a salad, very strange.
Cheeseburger salad. If you've ever wondered what it looks like, here we go.
But fish and chips is what I'm here for. Alright, that food was really good. We have 2 hours to get home, so we gotta get going. So we're stuck in the customary traffic jam in the end of each week. weekend here in Washington State, but it was a great weekend.
It was an awesome weekend. We used it really well. We went to the beach, we went to the rainforest, we found a place to sleep twice, even though it was a little tricky.
Yeah, it was hard. Each time it was hard. But we did it, and we didn't get stranded. And we were most of the time on the coast. It was great. And the reason I love that peninsula so much is that you have, you know, the Pacific Ocean right there, but you also have the rainforest and the mountain right next to it, like immediately next to it. So finding such habitats and preserved like that is very difficult.
It was a really special place, and I think we were both really surprised though by how crowded it was. It was extremely hard to find a campsite, and that was actually compounded. It was several reasons, I think. I think because of lockdown, number one, so a lot of people want to get out. Then you have your regular summer traffic of people that just do it every year. They book a year in advance to go.
Yeah.
And then
it's also a national park, so people come from out of state.
Yep.
And it's a very good national park too.
It's very unique for the reasons that you just mentioned of, you know, it's like a rainforest, it's a beach, it's mountains, and super unique, but man, it was crowded. And another reason why the campsites were, you know, crazy busy, I think, was also just the cancellation of events. This weekend would have been Seafair weekend in Seattle, which is a really big deal. There's usually music festivals, there's something going on in the city, but not this year, so everybody goes camping. And also, a lot of the campsites were closed.
Yeah.
Like,
Why is
we're
that?
amazed.
Like, what is the justification during a pandemic to actually close half of the campgrounds, make everyone rush for the other half?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. If anyone has an explanation, please comment, but this is really weird.
Yeah, I can see how, you know, initially it was probably, oh, so everybody stays home, but then it's like, well, why did you open like half of them and the other half are closed? Because that means everybody clusters in one. And then a lot of us, we weren't the only ones looking for campsites. We ran into a lot of other people being like, see any campsites? We're like, no, we're all out of luck.
Yeah.
And the hotels too. The hotels were crazy busy, no vacancies. And so we didn't see that coming. That's never been the case in Washington that we've seen.
Oh, it feels, but not this bad. And I think, you know, it comes down to the fact that Washington's seeing its population boom because of the businesses here.
Yeah.
However, nothing has been adding capacity since like the 50s. We don't have more roads, we don't have more camps, we don't have more anything on the infrastructure level. So it's really bad that we're having this rush of unmanaged growth.
Yeah, so it's, you know, partially that, but it's also, you know, this is just a really weird year with the pandemic. So I think all of that compounding together has made it kind of interesting. And, you know, again, we haven't actually been out to the Olympics during the summer. We usually are traveling to other cities, doing work trips and things like that. So this is one of our first summers where we're spending the entire time in our state, and we're kind of realizing, oh wow, it's crowded and it's busy and there's high demand everywhere, which does mean that the infrastructure does need to expand and accommodate more of that.
Yeah, we need more everything, more hotels, more roads.
Oh my god, even the food.
Yeah.
We tried to stop at Oysters today, and they were like, oh, we stopped serving at 4. We're like, oh, but, you know, we got money, we want food, and other people do too, so.
Yeah, 2 places were out of oysters.
Yeah, there's another place down the road, which was still open for another hour, but they were all fresh out of oysters, so. Yeah, there's demand for everything. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully the infrastructure keeps growing because, you know, it's a beautiful area, and, you know, despite there being a lot of people, there's a lot of places to go. There are tons of trails. Nobody was on our trail today, so there's more than enough space for people to social distance or whatever, have your own little piece of paradise out there.
Yeah, say right now we're basically stopped still on the freeway, and that's really classic here.
Yeah.
So yet another case in point, we need more infrastructure.
But anyway, back to the point, we had a great weekend. And the Olympics are fantastic. If you ever get a chance to come to the Olympic Peninsula, do it, but make sure you have your reservations. After 7 years of road tripping in our beloved Subaru Impreza, we decided it was time for an upgrade. A 2020 Jeep Grand Cherokee Summit. Join us for its very first adventure in the great outdoors of the Pacific Northwest. It's the weekend. It is Saturday, about 12 p.m. This is now our second campsite, and we're trying to see if we can find a spot. We know that it's going to be be a long shot. We've already been to one, Catches Lake, which of course was already full. So we're gonna try Salmon Le Sac and see if we can get a spot.
Another full campground here at Salmon Le Sac. This is where I really wanted to be, but I knew there's a very slim chance.
Yeah, first come first serve on a Saturday. We knew this was gonna be tough, and yeah, so far it's been tough, but we got a few more up our sleeves. Okay, we are here at Owie Campground. I think that's the actual name of it. And it's walk-in only. We're not really sure what that means, so we're gonna walk and just see what it looks like.
So this is what they call a walk-in campground. And the water they keep free actually. They don't let you camp by the water. What a cool lake, huh?
Yeah, that's cool. What lake is this?
I don't even know. A beautiful place but taken, so we're gonna keep looking. We found a place to sleep actually, guaranteed. Here there's some totally empty campgrounds. It's the Wenatchee National Forest south of Cle Elum and Ellensburg. However, we didn't take the one because we're confident we can later, and now we're gonna go deep into the National Forest and see if there's anything cooler.
I mean, it's still 3:30, and at the very least we'll come back here, and we found a totally empty campground in fact, so I think we won't have a problem. Alright, we have found a camp at another kind of funny campsite name. We're at Manistash Campground. Look, it was so pretty.
Yes, a brand new white Jeep.
Yeah,
Can't you
no
tell?
longer. Nope. All right, let's see what we've packed here. It's so dirty. I love it. Almost all of our stuff fits back here now, which is great.
Okay, we upgraded our tent since last time because it was really tight. And we got the big Agnes Copper Spotter 3-person tent, which is very sought after. It seems to be the best reviewed. And it actually can be used for backpacking because it's on the smaller side for what it is. And we will do that soon. But this is the first time we open it, so let's see.
So now that we've got the tent set up, these are the other sleeping things that we have.
This is a mattress really from sea to summit, and it's self-inflatable. It's not as good as it may seem. It will self-inflate over time to a degree.
This thing is so comfy. Like, I look forward to camping just so I can sleep in a sleeping bag sometimes. So far this site, and actually quite a few other ones that we've passed, are really popular for dirt biking and four-wheeling. So if you're into that, this is a really great area for that, I guess.
Camp itself is kind of open and dusty, but inside it looks like there's a grove. This place reminds me of Sierra Nevada, where you have these big sequoia looking trees and it's also dry, which unfortunately means we can't have a fire, but it's a similar vibe. Right
now I'm just grateful to have a spot to sleep, because the last time we tried to camp it was a no-go. It was so busy and crowded, and here it's like there are people, we can hear people around us, which is actually comforting. We don't like to be completely like surrounded by nobody. But yeah, we managed to get a pretty big, I think, group site all to ourselves, which is nice. Check out this like little bushwhacking thing here. Someone made a bench, someone made a swing. Like, wow, look at that.
I think you mean bushcrafting.
Yes, I do mean bushcrafting. Very nice.
Yeah, I can't even let go.
Very cool.
It's easy to fall on your ass though.
Yeah, I think the worst part of camping, and many of you would probably agree with me, has got to be the toilet. If you're not familiar with them, these are like outhouses and they're non-flushing toilets. It's literally like a hole in the ground. But there is like an actual toilet seat and everything. But yeah, they tend to smell and not be very pleasant.
Looks like here we have the pay station. Let's see the rules. First of all, it's only $5. Second, passes which are accepted actually include this America the Beautiful pass, which is spanning for 3 kinds of systems, including national forests. So we're covered here, we don't have to pay.
It's free!
Yeah, because look, all the possible passes are listed, in America the Beautiful is one of them. Well, it's gotten really atmospheric here, and I happen to have this speaker which I got normally to shower with music, but it actually is totally portable and it's really high quality, and it's wireless, waterproof, and portable. So we're gonna play some fairy tales from Audible. We'll find out what we get.
The Death of Koschei the Deathless.
That's a Russian one.
That sounds really
In a certain
morbid.
kingdom, there lived a Prince Ivan. He had 3 sisters.
This sounds so depressing.
Give
Let's
your
try
sisters
another
in
one
marriage to the very first suitors who come to woo them.
The Enchanted Pig.
Okay, I like this one. Let's listen to the
Once upon a time,
enchanted
there lived
pig.
a king who had 3 daughters. Now it happened that he had to go out to battle, so he called his daughters and said to them,
We just got up, put all the things away, and right here there's a road which I want to get to. The GPS doesn't understand where we are because we're in the middle of the forest. So yeah, we're working out the navigation through the national forest. Yeah, we go into this forest and see what happens. Here's an example of what's been happening this year in Washington State. We're far up in the mountain, we're here to do a crazy road, and now this is what we find. And all these people have parked here to go camping overnight on top of a mountain.
There are people parked out way like down on the road even to
Yeah.
get in here. So I bet this past weekend it was bad. So come on a Sunday afternoon
Crazy.
when everybody's leaving.
It's a heat wave right now, so everybody was like, oh, I'm gonna go up to the Alpine. And they packed the entire mountain. Deception Pass Trail. Highest lake. Oh, there's a lake only 2 miles away this way. We're gonna dip into the lake. Maybe. The trail begins. We've been noticing a lot of ants and they must be coming from somewhere.
I think I might know where.
Yes, it's crawling. It's an organism. There's Susie for comparison.
There's so many ants. Oh my god.
Susie is now a mountain woman.
Oh, it's ice cold.
Nice. Look, there's a river running under the roots here.
Wow.
We are entering the Alpine Lakes Wilderness of Washington. Wenatchee National Forest.
And we're doing a short hike. Everybody here is like, we're almost done. So it must be long and it must be hot, and maybe I'll come back another time and do it.
All these people have backpacked and they're coming from the Alpine way out there and through a really hot day. We have gotten to a very wet part of this mountain. There are creeks every other minute and many insects, and the bushes here are basically my height.
But we passed a girl wearing flip-flops, so I guess, you know, you don't have to have the best footwear to make it in here.
I would never do that. I would strongly advise against it. It appears we found the first lake. It's big. Oh my god, the water. That emerald green, it's the bad light, but man, this is nice.
Wow, look at this. That's so great. There are campsites like right around here. You can camp, you can just walk down here to the lake. Ah, that's so cool. We're gonna have to put this in our notebook of places to come back to. And it's only 2 miles in, which don't tell anybody.
Where did it go?
Oh, I see it.
Where?
It's right there. It's right there.
Yeah, it's
Swimming.
cute.
Oh my god, he blends in so well.
Yeah,
Oh, he's so cute.
it is really cute.
So, I don't know if you can see it, but there's some big flies. They look like bees. Like, they're huge. I don't know if I've ever seen flies like this, but they're like circling our car. They've been chasing us since we left, and we've been driving for, I don't know, a couple minutes or something. They're still chasing us. There. You see that? There. Oh my god, what the heck?
We're at a place called Fish Lake up in the Cascade Mountains, and it's wet, and there's some water at a plain level where it's just stagnant, and they're breeding hardcore here, all kinds of insects, and they're biting really hard, and they chase you in swarms. It's really hardcore. And we thought of camping here, but no. No.
Well, I mean, there are a bunch of people camping here, so clearly they do it. A lot of people looked miserable on their way out. I lost track of how many people are like, are we close to getting out? So for various reasons, it was really hot, really dry, dirty, but the flies make it just like, they add that much more annoyance to all of this. And so, yeah, I would like to come camp here again, but we need to read up on the best time when flies aren't here, because these are like the worst flies ever, and they're not just house flies. Like, these are like, I don't know what kind these are exactly. I think horsefly is a good assumption, but I got my first fly bite today. I didn't know that they could bite like that, and it's painful. They're worse than mosquitoes, I have to say.
These flies are beastly, but
Yeah.
other than that, this is a really, really beautiful area. And
Whoa. It's also bumpy, so if you have a four-wheel drive car, I don't know if GoPro's doing this justice right now, but it's extremely bumpy.
well, this is our Jeep's maiden voyage right now.
That is true, yes. And so yeah, our mission this weekend was, camp. We did that. We were gonna do a second night, but we got so dirty and annoyed by these flies that I think we're just gonna go home tonight because we can. We're not that far from home. But we camped for a night. We broke in our Jeep. We got
No, we didn't break it.
broke in.
Broke in, yes.
Not that kind of break
I thought you
in.
said we've broken our Jeep.
No, we broke in our Jeep. You know what I mean? We used it on its maiden voyage. There. It's definitely getting its fair share of off-roading, and it is so much fun. This is what it was made for. This is why we got the Jeep, and we've got more modifications on the way to make our overnight trips with this Jeep even better. And part of that now is going to be anti-fly measures because God, they're still out there. They were chasing us our entire hike. It was ridiculous. In Washington State have been extremely hard to come by, which you might have gathered from our last few vlogs.
Is this open? Nope, someone's there. No luck here, so we have to drive an hour away. Full campground here at Saint-Lasac.
So in this episode, we try out a new strategy for last-minute camping, and we find a hidden gem. But first, we stop by Mount Rainier National Park for a scenic hike.
We're at the Mount Rainier Wilderness.
So we're gonna do the Tipsy Lake hiking trail. Neither of us have actually done this trail before, so it should be a nice adventure.
Yeah, and we were planning out the weekend out here, so it's gonna be nice. Another weekend warrior adventure.
It's a Sunday, and we are gonna camp tonight, so we're trying a new strategy where we camp on a Sunday night instead of coming on a Friday or Saturday, because that's when a lot of the campsites open up.
some kids in the water.
It's pretty. Got some mosquitoes coming out because we're by water, and I've already been bit a couple times, but at least we don't have flies dive bombing us and trying to destroy us like we did last weekend. A lot of people camp here. This would be a great place to, you know, hike in, set up camp, and then do like little day hikes from here. But so far not too busy either, and it is about 11:15.
It's easy and beautiful.
But yeah, nice day. Really, really good. I'm glad we chose to. Ooh, a big burger. Burger. A big bird. That's what's on my mind. Obviously, I want a big burger. A bird. Oh. I got chased by another bird, but it was actually there for a little while, so I think I got some nice B-roll footage with it. But yeah, we're gonna enjoy this little lake here and then head back up the hill, I think, and move on towards our campsite, which is another lake.
Looks like another gorgeous lake right here, right next to the other one. Such beautiful water here.
It's so pretty.
Here we go, Mount Rainier. We got a really good view of Mount Rainier behind us, and this is where we're choosing to spend our weekend this time. We're not climbing the mountain, we are in the periphery because it's really crowded up there, and we've climbed it many times, not to the top, but it's a good time to mention this is the symbol of Washington State, and it's on the license plate, and everywhere you look it's depicted because it's our jewel in a way.
In fact, pro tip, if you're flying up like from like California or south, flying north to Washington, make sure you sit, I think it's like on the right side of the plane, because you get this stellar view when you're flying by on a clear day, and it just looks amazing. It's one of the best things about flying into Seattle.
Here's some eye candy, just one of many lakes where we are here. Here's a very true statement. This is not New York, and also no swimming. And even though it's not New York, observe the crowding happening here. Over here, this is the easiest trail in the area, and it's really covered in people.
Wow, look at it now. Yeah, a lot more people starting.
So many cars coming behind you.
I know. Yeah, it's crowded. Yeah, I'm glad we got here early and now we can leave and get out.
All right, let's get in the car, cool off, and emerge somewhere else.
The next destination. These are my hiking poles. They're made by a local Washington company called Cascade Tech. And what I love about them is that they fold up really nicely like this, and they pack into my Osprey Tempest 9 bag really well for hiking. But we're also going to use them for another purpose here if we can figure out how they stick. So the hiking poles, the rubber part and the ends come off and it reveals a metal spike. You just have to not lose those because you want to be hiking with these for sure. This is one of the things I really liked about this tent, you know, because you can, if you need to, stake this part, this edge into the ground if you want everything down, but you can also, using hiking poles, kind of have it up in case you want to actually see outside of your tent.
There.
You got a little house.
The camp is set here at Riffe Lake, so I'm gonna give you a tour. First things first, the Jeep. And it's turned so we can unpack and set the camp fast. And
Have the essential toilet paper.
here's the camp. Nice fire pit, 2 chairs, and the tent. This time we have a fire pit and there's no fire ban. I have lots of wood here prepared and the axe. And because we're in a civilized place, we have a table and the next surprise in the box.
That's right. I hope these work. We have not used them, so we're about to find out.
Alright, we have the ultimate laziness right here. I always thought that's a pain in the ass, but we have a little gadget which will help us. Go. A little blower.
Best part is it can also deflate really quickly. So Amazon for the win. These Intex ones, I had to wait a few weeks, almost a month for them to be back in stock. But yeah, so far really solid.
We're finally going to go into the water this year.
Yay! This year we've been in the water.
Oh yeah, in our neighborhood.
Yeah, we'll just be more in the water than before.
We're creeping down here towards the lake. And I already see people floating around. Yeah. It looks amazing. This is not that warm. It's a little colder than you may think. Is this happening? Should be happening.
Yeah, it's cold.
It's cold. It's alright. We'll be fine. Oh, it's cold. There's no salvation.
Oh, this is so nice though. Well, we're here on Riffe Lake, which is south of Mount Rainier, and it's actually a private campground. And it was fully booked for the whole weekend, Friday, Saturday. Kind of figured, what if we go Sunday afternoon? Because most people leave on Sunday afternoons to go back home. And checkout is actually at 1 p.m. or 12 p.m. and you check in at 1 p.m. So I think we got here at like 2:30, right after a lot of people checked out. And it's not full, but it's not, totally empty either. So some people probably have the same idea. But yeah, we managed to get a tent camping site, set up our tent, inflated our tubes, and we don't even know what time it is, so we don't care today. It's just a nice day, the sun is still up, and we're just enjoying being on the water.
Today is actually the warm day from this weekend, and it's over 80 degrees, and it's actually really hot in the campground. So being here is actually the perfect move. And I have 2 beers, so it says liquid aloha on the bottle.
Are you feeling the liquid aloha right now?
I'm actually very relaxed. Here we are. Very nice.
That 3-way's coming in handy.
And we're tethered.
Yeah, we're tethered. But we have to thank Nomadic Fanatic Eric for highlighting Riffe Lake on a video, and he did exactly this actually. He brought his little floaty thing and was in the water, and we were like, that looks really cool, and that's really close to us. So yeah, he showed us some tent sites, so we booked a tent site yesterday, came down Sunday afternoon, and now we're floating in the lake. And he was right, this is amazing.
We're back. Now it's time for a warm fire and we'll dry up. There we go, getting cozy over here. So the fire is going, maybe a little too fast even. Alright, so got my beer, got my Kindle. Our modern steed is right behind us.
The modern steed.
In case we need to run from barbarians.
Barbarians?
Yeah.
What barbarians would these be?
There are all kinds of barbarians these days. Almost awake, just like we almost slept.
So much space.
Almost as much as a millennial's condo.
6:30 a.m. Monday morning, and because we have to now go back to work, we're getting up early.
Yes, I gotta go to work right now. So we're putting our camp away and we noticed there's an unwelcome guest. And now it's coming down our tent. And I don't think the GoPro lets you appreciate the enormity of it. Of course, it had to be the biggest fucking slug I've ever seen.
I hate slugs so much, I won't even look at it.
Susie actually has a phobia of slugs, we found out. We're on our way. Our alarm rang exactly at 6:30, and exactly at 7:30 we're out of the door from the campsite, and now we're driving through a gorgeous mist.
Oh my gosh, look at that. That's pretty cool.
Wow. And I just checked the traffic, and there's traffic on the main freeway here in Seattle area, I-5, so we're actually taking the mountain pass back home, and it should be really pretty. It's soon after sunrise, so it's among the best times to be out in nature.
It's the scenic route, which does take a little bit longer, but yeah, that's okay.
And this time it's actually 25 minutes shorter to get through the mountains.
So yeah, normally it's longer, but you do have to consider traffic, and if there is traffic, then sometimes it's worth taking the longer route because you can save some time. That's why we got that. What's up? Oh no.
The tracks. Well, we're still hiking, as you can see, in pitch dark really. So we're at a place called the Glory Hole.
We're so high.
This is among the best views we have ever seen.
It's our last 4-day weekend of the summer, and we're heading to Okanogan County. Located in the central part of Washington state, Okanogan extends across the US-Canada border. Winthrop is probably the most well-known town, and we do make a pit stop here. But our real goal is to camp and hike 20 miles in the wilderness. We get into all of this and more in this episode.
We opened this episode in a very beautiful place called Washington Pass. Here we go, this is the highest mountain pass of Washington state. We have a really busy weekend planned. It's a 4-day weekend this time because of Labor Day. And it's gonna be a really good one. We're going to a gorgeous place called Okanogan, and we'll show you a lot more over there. We took a turn off the highway at a place called Mazama, which is the beginning of the Meadow Valley.
Here we go, entering the Okanogan Forest. We didn't know it at the time, but we were driving on the most dangerous road in all of Washington state. This is Hart's Pass, a narrow road winding through the mountains of the North Cascades. Besides being the most dangerous road, it is also the highest road in the state of Washington that one can drive. We found a spot, the last spot in this campground.
Pretty cool, and we're nice and dirty.
Oh yeah, wow. Yep, that is why we got that. What's up? Oh no. Yeah, I want to say that was from whoever was here before.
Yesterday, yeah.
So this should be fine. Yep. Okay, yeah. I got a little worried there too.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no.
Purchase date on the 3rd and number of days 1, so today the 4th is no longer valid. Alright, we are settled here, parked for the day, and this is where we're settled. Our tent is here with no cover because it's nice and breezy and it won't get that cold tonight. And we have a great picnic table, but the best part of all is over here. So this is lounge, over there is the bedroom, here's the dining room, and there's an actual kitchen over there, but again, we can't have fires at this time. As you can see, actually in this area there's been a big fire already, and it's very dangerous in late summer. At this point we're gonna eat a bit, and then we're going to go hike.
So the last time we did this, we caused a really big explosion and a fire, which is why we've got a fire extinguisher this time in case that happens.
Unfortunately, this is the simple stove, not the fancy one we made explode, which does have wind guards, and it is windy here, but we'll have to cope.
These things always terrify me, and even more so because of what happened last time, but they work.
So what's on the menu is some astronaut chicken, space chicken with curry. Cool, we have our meal here. For camping food is quite fine. it's like 4 o'clock, but we're finally ready to hike, and the light is quite nice.
Starts off with a booty bird.
Yeah, well, just after the hill we climbed, we get to here, where we go down and we see a very gorgeous valley. And over there's a fire lookout on the top. Mexican shootout.
A Mexican shoot is a Chinese shootout.
Oh, we need 3 people for a
Chinese
Mexican.
versus American.
3 people we need for a Mexican shootout. What I really like about Okanogan is once you pass the cascade passes, you end up in this more open land and you get views all the time. Because on the west side of the cascades, you don't get views until you get really high. But here it's just gorgeous and kind of highlands, rolling hills and whatnot. It's not really alpine as much anymore.
Such stunning open views, and it actually, there's like a nice cool breeze. I like it.
We've been hiking for a bit under an hour and almost 2 miles. It looks like we'll get to a nice lake. And what are your impressions so far?
It's a really pretty hike. It's so nice and quiet, except for the flies sometimes, and really colorful and actually fairly easy. There's some ups and downs, but pretty easy hike.
It's a different type of terrain here. We're used to wet. Out of Seattle, it's actually hard to get to any place that isn't wet. And that's why we like coming here, where it's just drier and more open. We went through a more hidden part, through a little grove, and there are animals there, we hear them, and I saw a little, either a quail or a grouse. We didn't see it up close, and I still hear them rustling. And now we see the first people on this trail at all, so it took 2 miles to run into somebody, which is the coolest thing about Okanogan. You have it to yourself pretty much. Looks like you slept out there. Oh, now you're heading out. I see. Golden hour will happen as we're hiking. And there's also fall color. There's yellow and red from the fall now. We came upon a little creek with the most gorgeous pools forming as it cascades down. Well, it's a complete boulder field now. A little tricky, but not challenging. Just stepping the right way is a bit harder. Well, same story as Utah. The sign is inaccurate. It said 4 miles to the lake. It's been 4.7 and we're not even there.
And also like Utah, this hike started off flat and easy, and then towards the end it's like you get a lot of ups and downs and ups and downs. We came up a giant hill here, then you got to go back down the hill.
All right, let's eat a power bar and head back.
Yep.
Because it's gonna be a to get back. And it's gonna be dark by the end.
Yep.
Well, change of plan. I guess we didn't learn our lesson in Utah and we're going to go to the lake because we're so close.
It's warm enough because after the sun goes down, sometimes you worry about it being too cold, but I don't think that would be an issue this time. And if it gets a little dark, that's okay. We got our cell phones. We can do flashlights that way. So I think we'll be okay.
We ran into a whole bunch of little chickens. They're not that little actually.
They're pretty big.
They're very funny. Wow, there's so many. No, fly. They're too young to fly, I think, these little ones here. We're not eating them because we have Cliff Bars. But if it was a matter of life or death, we would be having grouse tonight. Alright, we see the lake now. It's only 1.2 miles farther than the sign said. Alright, we found the lake and the price for that is gonna be hiking in the dark, so we better get going. Making our way down now. There's a dog. We're making our way back actually quite well. It's about 3.5 miles left out of altogether 10.4. So we're not doing poorly. The light is almost gone though, so there's gonna be some dusk after the sun is gone now. So the goal is to use the remaining light to get out of this wooded part so we can get into the open part that we started in when it gets really dark, and hopefully we get some moonlight. That way we can have some light to be guided and make the final mile or so. Well, we're still hiking, as you can see, in pitch dark really.
I think we're just about done, which I didn't even know because I couldn't really see, so I didn't know we're already at the end.
We are.
But thank God. Our phones actually did pretty well. It's ideal to have a headlamp, which we both have, but we just didn't bring it with us. So now we know. Leave a headlamp in your hiking bag.
Oh, for real. And yeah, we're flashing forward like this is about all we see.
But this was better than nothing because it would have been really bad with no light at all.
It would have been terrible.
Because right now it is 9:20. It did take us about 2 hours actually from that point.
We're almost hiking to 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And here's the proof that we are still in the wilderness. And it's dark as hell. Doesn't my coffee look amazing? Good morning. It's very exciting today because we're hiking the Pacific Crest Trail, and that's no other than the best trail of all, at least in North America, but maybe even in the world. It goes from Canada to Mexico along the Pacific Mountains near the coast, and we're gonna do a segment of it just for a day.
We're here at a trailhead, and right next to the trailhead information we saw a sign which is really interesting about this area. So apparently we have a mountain goat problem where they're too concentrated, so they're relocating the goats by tranquilizing them, blindfolding them, and picking them up via a helicopter and like helicoptering them out to like another location.
I think that's the stupidest thing ever, but
it makes for really entertaining photos. So yeah, just Google that, like goat relocation, Washington State, and the photos are pretty funny.
We started in a little wooded section, and immediately right here it opens up, which is what I'm starting to really love about Okanogan hiking. Already you get to see views and it smells amazing again.
Someone needs to make like an Okanogan scented something so you could smell this in your house all the time. It smells so good.
Looks like we'll be going through this ridge all the way around there and see what we see on that side. We are now on the big ridge that I pointed at, and look at the view from here. It's the whole valley.
It's so nice. We're also just saying, you know, if you're ever going to do the Pacific Crest Trail, you don't need to do the whole thing. But if you do any part of it, the part that comes through Washington is probably among the most scenic. At least in our opinion.
It's the best.
Yeah.
And look at what we see there, that little notch on the top is
Yeah, we were just there.
Yeah, we were there yesterday, that's where we hiked down that hill. So now we're on the opposite end. We want to go over there by the snow. We'll see, it's gonna take hours, but we may end up there. So far we've moved for about 1.5 miles. So it's not terrible, but it's stacking up, and this is deceptive. It doesn't come as fast as you think. You think it's closer, but it's not. Wow, here is on full display why they call it the Pacific Crest Trail. All around you, you're eye level with all these mountains. Like a 360 wall. Incredible. We like Europe a lot. We went to the Alps in the Dolomites, which is amazing, and you've been to the Swiss Alps, and it's amazing, but in America we have stuff just as good and much more of it.
It's not as well known, but that's actually a good thing. That means it's less crowded. And you do have to, I guess, you know, in Europe as well, you have to do more of your own research. You don't really have tour groups that bring you up here, but yeah, you can get up here and have it all to yourself, and it's just incredible.
There are a lot of these insects here that rattle a lot like a rattlesnake, if you listen. It's a little scary. We are now very close to the snow peak that we saw in the beginning. It's been about, I don't know, 3.5 miles since then. And I think our trail actually is going to terminate right up against this peak.
I don't know if you can see it with the filter, but I can see like tinges of red and orange and some nice color to that.
We're approaching the final last few feet of our hike. It looks like a stunning view. Oh wow, yes it is. I love it.
Look at this! This is so amazing. We have like panoramic views of this mountain and it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. We have it all to ourselves too. Nobody else has stopped here.
Yeah, we've seen like 7 groups of people that you see once every half hour or something. It's not a bad thing at all. If you want an exclusive experience, here is quite nice. Okay, we're almost out of the woods. It's actually not deep woods, but the expression is such. We turned the last turn, that is the big one, and oh, this ridge there takes us right to where we started.
Yep, so the end is in our sights, and I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty tired actually, so I'm glad that we're just about done.
Yeah, in the end, when you're doing a 10-mile hike, like now 2 days back to back, you really feel it.
It adds up.
Time to rate this cooler. I think it's charitable. Oh, Koreans. Yeah.
Woo! It's right on our YouTube channel.
That's right. Oh yes, a Coca-Cola.
This is very nice. Whoever did this, thank you. This is a really great way to end the hike.
Do you even have the menu over here? And oh, I think they may have fruit in here. Yes!
Oh!
Yeah, I should grab
Wow,
something.
that is really nice.
I don't know who did
It
this.
might have been that girl with the dog.
Maybe.
Because she was here at the beginning. She was just talking to somebody. What do you want?
Orange.
Apple? Orange? Okay. It's a little tangerine thing.
And this is our outro of the Pacific Crest Trail. Only a tiny portion since it goes from Canada to Mexico, but it's fantastic. Even just this little segment, 5
So
miles
great.
in and back.
Yeah, if you want a proof about how great it is, there were treats at the end. So really great trail
So
all
good.
around. It's been, I was just saying, I was happy the entire time. You know how when you're doing like a 10-mile trail, a lot of times you hit a low point, and I never really did at this trail. The whole time has been really great.
Awesome. Let's enjoy a Coke. Alright, our campsite never looked so inviting, except when you do over 10 miles of hiking, and now it looks like paradise. Oh, there's like some track. There are tracks.
That's hilarious.
Your little chipmunk feet on the solar panel that we left out here to charge.
Total evidence. If it weren't for that, we'd have no idea that they were here. That is so funny.
Caught red-handed.
Back at camp, we warmed up with a quick bite to eat, and then we relaxed for the rest of the afternoon. Just before sunset, we set out for the fire lookout that we had seen the day before. Known as Slate Peak Lookout, this is officially the highest drivable road in the state of Washington, and the views from here are stellar.
We came to an amazing sunset spot.
It's actually, we were over on that side down there last night for sunset, and it was really pretty from down there, but this time on this side we'll actually have more sunlight, so it should be really stunning. And we're gonna go higher, so we should have a really great view from up here.
That's right, it was a crazy drive coming up here on a mountain road, and the parking lot is totally packed right here with many cars. But all around us here is a sea of mountains we'll be videotaping right now.
We're so high.
This is among the best views we have ever seen.
Maybe at the top it goes a little bit higher.
Yeah, we will.
Maybe this shows you the peaks.
You gotta be kidding me.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So we're at a place called the Glory Hole.
The Eureka Lode.
Amazing.
Oh, I can't believe they called it that.
This is one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. It's at 360 degrees of mountains all around. It's incredible. came down the mountain this morning after 2 days of hiking, 20 miles, and now we're gonna have a recovery day down here in the town of Winthrop, and we just had some real food.
We had pizza, which is like one of the best things to have after a long day of not having non-dehydrated food. So that was a really great way to start the day. And yeah, it's the traffic is like huge here. This is apparently the tourist hotspot because Winthrop has been the most crowded that we've seen since we've come out here.
And down this way is all Wild West town with the boardwalks and everything, saloons. Winthrop looks like lots of fun, and we'll come enjoy it one more time today, but right now we really need to find a place to sleep. It took us not very long and we found a very nice camping spot. Turns out Winthrop is really good for camping.
So there are quite a few camp spots. Some are official where you have to pay, and others are kind of a free-for-all, so they're free as long as you have a Northwest Forest pass. But yeah, we managed to find a legitimate campground, just paid for it, just set up our tent, and we have river access. We have like a private beach all to ourselves, so that's a really good deal.
Yeah, let's give you the tour. Here's the vehicle, and here's this whole giant space just for us. And you could fit so many people. We're trying to put the tent where the shade is, but it keeps moving around, so we don't know exactly where is best. Here's the table.
Our picnic table. So this is the nice thing about the designated camping spots. If you go for a free-for-all, you have to bring your own table. You won't get a table. So we have a nice picnic spot. We've got a fire pit that we can't use, unfortunately, but it's here for whenever you can have a fire.
Next time. But this right here is the best part. The little forest.
Really, is it sandy?
Yeah, all of a sudden, white sand. Here we go, our own beach. How amazing is that? So yeah, this is the camp spot for tonight. We're quite impressed with Winthrop area camping. There are many camps here, and this one is quality. There are some other ones that were full and many ones we haven't seen, so we'll be coming back here. And right now, we really want to cool off, and we're going to a big lake, and we're going to chill out and float over there.
But we are in the middle of the lake with our tubes and our buckleberry sodas.
Mine is at the bottom of the lake.
Yeah, his dropped. Having a bit of a sailing experience where the wind is just pushing us forward, or backwards, I guess. So enjoy the ride.
It's nice, we don't have to do work until later when we have to cross the whole lake.
Shouldn't be too bad.
I think we'll be totally fine.
This wind has been so strong and just consistent. We tried paddling, but really it was just useless. It just wasn't even working. So luckily there's another beach or an entrance point towards the bottom of the lake. So I thought of that and I was like, I'm just gonna let the wind or current kind of push me down. And so I got out on this side. Martin got a little caught in the weeds. So he's gonna go get his floaty, which he left there. It actually has the car key attached to it. So, but of all people, I know that he'll find a way out of it. So the plan is for him to retrieve the car, come pick me up, because I'm at a place where a car can actually stop. And hopefully we get out of it that way. All right, salvation. Bit of a hassle, but we made it. At least we weren't remote. Like if we had been completely stranded and not able to get back, that would have been bad. But we were near civilization, which was helpful.
Yeah, this was still a bit out of control, which I don't like. It got me a bit wounded actually to get out of this situation, so it's not the best one to put ourselves into, but we did okay. We got out, so that's what counts.
After that ordeal, we really wanted to treat ourselves to dinner, so we headed 1,000 feet above Winthrop to Sun Mountain Lodge. Spanning 3,000 acres, this lodge offers overnight accommodations, miles of hiking and cross-country paths, and a farm-to-table restaurant.
Alright, we got the goods, it smells good, and now we will drive to our camp because it's really windy and late. Bugs. So we have our dinner in the campsite. It got a bit dark, but we have a lantern. And this is chimichurri steak, and there's a pork dish as well. And salad and bread and butter, and it's like pretty lavish.
Who says you can't be gourmet when you're camping? Or glamping at this point, but hey, we'll take it. I don't mind, it's good food. Nice warm food that should taste amazing, so really excited for this. The next morning, we woke up bright and early and packed up our camp.
Here's our cleaned out camp spot. Left it as we found it, as we always should.
But before we departed, we had to see the river one last time.
A huge fish came. We're trying to get the right lens on to film it. Very cool. We saw a big salmon in the pure river.
It's got a nice environment here.
Yeah.
A little tricky, it gets rocky, so it does have to be, must be a salmon.
Alright, after the salmon experience, it's time to go. Get into our Jeep and roll. Back in Winthrop looking for a breakfast, so we're gonna go to the busiest place from yesterday since now the crowds are gone. Homemade pies and pastries. So will be it for Winthrop. After this I'll get a coffee and we're on our way out. I recommend not coming here on a holiday weekend because there are lines everywhere. For example, I wanted to enjoy a slower pace and get a whiskey in the bar and things like that, but it's just lines and lines and crowds. So if you do that on any other weekend but a holiday, you can do that here very calmly.
We came previously in May, which was a great time. There was like, it wasn't very busy, and it's also really nice.
Yeah.
It's also green, not yellow, so it's a little bit colder.
Yeah. But what we discovered this time is that if you go into the forest right north of Winthrop, it's still green even in the summer, and it's really pleasant in there. And yeah, the forest, the actual Okanogan forest north of here is gorgeous.
For the last weekend of the summer, we're heading up to North Washington State near the Canadian border in search of fall color. In this episode, we do a stunning sunset hike at Mount Baker, explore the town of Lyndon, aka the largest Dutch settlement in Washington, and go on a rather obscure hike in search of fossils.
Top of Gujarat.
We're back at Mount Baker at Artist Point, and as you can see behind us, it's a really popular area, but you know, we're here at, it's currently about 5:15, but we're going to start our hike right now. This part of the Mount Baker area is best known for Artist Point, which you can see why it's called that. But we've hiked this area before, so this time we're heading out on the Chain Lakes Loop instead. It's a 7-mile round-trip trail, but you don't have to do the whole thing to get a taste of the stunning views of Mounts Baker and Shuksan, plus the North Cascades.
We're about a mile in and we're steering right at Mount Baker. Right there is Mount Baker. From here you can take the trail to Mount Baker, but it's very long. You can also take a trail that way, I believe, and go on this ridge. And there's another lake which we'll take that way in the back, which leads to lakes. Interesting factoid about Mount Baker is that it broke the record for snowfall in the world in 2006. So we're at one of the snowiest places in the world right now, steering right at it. We took our turn and now we're descending towards some lakes, and it's much more so emptied out and it's very peaceful and beautiful. No larches yet though. They're down south there, I know there are some, but up here, I was gonna show you.
Some kind of tree?
Yes.
Every time you say that, I keep thinking you're saying LARPing.
No.
Looking for LARPers out here.
No LARPers. Here's the descent. This is about the first elevation we're going through. Until here it was mostly flat. We got to a stretch with a lot of fall color.
It's so pretty. So combined with that golden hour lighting, everything just looks super golden and warm and inviting.
And we're up near Alpine Mountains, so it's extra cool. But yeah, this is beautiful with the sun breaking through. We wanted fall colors this weekend and we found them. Even though it's early, the trick is to come higher, because the fall color arrives higher when you're like 7, 6, 8,000. You know, around that height you can get fall color early in the season. We're about a mile and a half in and we already see the first lake and people camping right next to it, which is great because you don't have to kill yourself with a big bag and you still have water source quite close. And right over there is Mount Baker, a permanent glacier.
This might get a little chilly depending on the season, so it definitely got to be a summer thing.
Which you know you can easily overcome with the right kind of gear, which we now have.
Like our tent.
Yeah, the tent is baller. Cat. A hiking cat, that may be a first. Right there is Mount Baker with all that snow melting, going down this way and filling up these alpine lakes. After the lakes fill up, they eventually overflow and from then begin creeks and they eventually consolidate into rivers and then just head for the coast. Very nice view here of Susie coming down with her 4 recording devices. It might be a new record. I was giving a little geography lesson and you're doing a little camera review.
Well, I'm getting footage for my camera review, so Gemini Connect, if you don't already subscribe to that channel, that's where we talk about the myriad of cameras that we're always carrying with us.
And if you wonder what's the logic between having a camera channel and a lifestyle channel, well, cameras are a huge part of our lifestyle. We started the first channel as a lifestyle channel, but started also talking about the camera part of our lifestyle, and that ended up taking off way faster. And we ended up focusing that channel on cameras and making another channel for lifestyle. Speaking of experience, this is why it's great to have a camera in your hand in case you woke up on a chain of lakes in the Alpine. It is so pretty, pristine and pure with full color. Oh yes, this is beautiful. We finished our hike, we're back at the parking lot next to our car in the dark.
That's right, so All Trail said that was about a 4.2 mile hike round trip, which is just right for us, considering we haven't hiked in a few weeks.
Yeah, and it started way late. It started like 5 something.
About 5:30 and it was about 7:45 when we finished, which wasn't too bad really.
It was a great hike, very beautiful, very recommended. Next time we're coming to sleep here with our gear.
But since we don't have our gear to sleep here, we have to drive about an hour and a half to our lodging for tonight.
That's right, because any lodging near here is completely booked right now and there's not much close actually to here because it's wilderness. So tomorrow we're gonna wake up in the valley with the farm fields and head for the coast. Good morning, Sunday morning. We're out in Lyndon, Washington. We woke up near the farm fields. Now I just need to return the keys and we're out of here. This is our motel here with a windmill because this place has some Dutch heritage. I returned the keys. Time to hop in the Jeep and find some breakfast.
Today we're in the town of Lyndon, Washington, which is just 5 miles away from the Canada-USA border. It's the second largest city in Whatcom County, and it's known for 2 things. The first thing is that it's known for being the largest Dutch-American settlement in Washington state. Lyndon's Dutch heritage is reflected in the signs, art, architecture, and floral displays all around town.
What is interesting is that I went to the Netherlands recently and their flowers are on point there, and their little gardens, even though they have close to no space in Amsterdam, are great. And here you see also them doing flower towers in Washington State.
These are huge. You know how normally like those little flower baskets are tiny, but look at how big this one is.
It's way bigger than you and me even.
I like the addition of the bicycles, which is a very Dutch thing. If you've ever been to Amsterdam or any towns in the Netherlands, they're all about their bicycles. And the second thing that Lyndon is known for is its agriculture. In particular, its raspberry production.
Alright, so we just took a turn, you saw where, at downtown. And here we're already in the fields. Here is a beautiful farm, basically in downtown Lyndon. Lyndon is a well-preserved farming community, kind of like the old America used to be, almost entirely consisting of. It was mostly farmers that lived independently and just kind of went about their lives. And you can see that still remains here. And they have their Dutch farming heritage.
I was going to say it's definitely Dutch influence. So we're just walking around downtown, taking pictures of the windmills and some of the Dutch influence that's still in this town.
In case you don't know, Washington State grows almost all of America's raspberries.
So it's about 74 million pounds of raspberries each year. Actually, no, that's a lot.
70% of the US production is right here. 96% of all the ones in Washington are from this county. So we're basically, yes, in the middle of the raspberry production of the USA.
This is a really cool town. There's a lot of character to it, and it's, for a small town, I mean, I would consider this a small town, maybe it's not, but it's among our nicer small towns in the state. Because a lot of our small towns are kind of run down, but this one definitely is not.
Part of the way we came to Lyndon is I checked the data for the virus, and in the entire county, which has a bigger city called Bellingham, there's like 15 cases of COVID last day or something. But the chance they're actually in this town is very, very small. I couldn't find any evidence of that. So we came to this town instead. And so that, you know, we've been traveling a lot this year, but I always make sure that we'll go somewhere where there's almost no cases. Here's the biggest windmill in town. If you have been to the Netherlands, you know that it's very common to have restaurants and windmills over there, or altogether many windmills. If you're ever near the border of the USA and Canada, in Washington State in particular, come to Lyndon.
Yeah, it's really nice. So yeah, if you're on your way, we're actually really close to Canada. It's a real shame we can't go to Canada right now because we're not allowed to. But if we were, we typically just blast through I-5, go straight up to Canada, but this is a nice little place to stop. We are searching for a trail. It's a little obscure and there aren't a lot of people on it normally, which is why I think it's kind of hard to find. It's an unmarked trail, but it's called the Slide Mountain Fossil Beds. And so we know that we're in the general area of where it is, but I'm having to read the comments to figure out exactly where the trailhead is because it's not very clear. It's bumpy, but it's nice.
We found our trail and it was fun looking for it actually. We found comments with directions and it was quite clear. Now we're on this trail where apparently there are many mountain lions, or often there is a mountain lion at least stalking people.
The other thing is a lot of people showed up like right after we parked, so I think that may help.
Yeah, we have some power and numbers because all we have is this multi-tool.
Oh no, I have...
Yeah, that doesn't help. So we have pathetic defenses. We didn't bring them, so maybe I'll try to find a pole. I will feel more comfortable with a stick at least in my hand with these mountain lions out here. So I've been looking for something fallen. There is one which is long. So
wow, it's really long.
Let's see if the power tool is really good for anything and it actually does what it says. This is a mini saw, right? It has nice grip of it.
This is what happens when you watch too much Alone. You get inspired to bushcraft.
There
you go.
Worked like a charm. So now we have something to prod it away at least. It's always good to have a big pole in the mountain. You don't know what you come against. This is a thick rainforest, so your eyes really only get you so far. You can't really watch out for yourself well here. This trail is not that hard overall, but these drops keep happening where the water has been running when it's rainy season, so it will be normal and all of a sudden it drops like this. And in reality it's a lot steeper than the camera makes it look. So having a stick or a pole of some sort really helps. It got very thick all of a sudden. We made it through a really dark part of the forest, and we had read some reports that it gets really steep, and there used to be ropes, but it looks like there no longer are ropes. Right here I think is what they're talking about. So it really gets very steep up there and slippery on top of that. We're not doing it, and it's not a good idea for one of us to do it and the other one not, because there's been many cougar reports. So we're gonna turn back now. We came here looking for fossils, but apparently the majority of them is up where there used to be a rope. But we're trying to find some just in the lower bits. Let's see if we can. Someone stacked up some rocks over here. Let's see if they have fossils. Looks like little sticks into the rock. That's about it.
Stick.
Something. It looks like a stick to me. Stick is gonna save us.
We have sticks. I can look like a bigger creature this way.
That's right. Is that a fossil? It is the same type of stick thing. Oh, a leaf, yes. A leaf looks like. We found the fossilized leaf.
Oh wow.
Not sure why the leaves are fossilizing. It's probably because there's too many of them.
There's just a lot of them.
Alright, it's daytime again. Even though it's overcast, it's so much brighter here. I was just scolding Susie for not covering her lenses, and it looks like her lens cover is here.
I told you. It fell off.
That's not a good excuse.
It did. Someone found it.
Hope you didn't scratch up in your backpack.
Got lucky. Thank you, whoever found it.
I'm gonna leave my finely crafted stick for the next guy here, so they can be safe from the cougars and hike better. Okay, that was really it. We have just a little bit of road and we're out of here. We did our nature walk and we were gonna go to the coast, but it got really gloomy and we were gonna enjoy scenic hikes with views, and we can't do that in this fog, so...
We could, but it wouldn't be worth the climb without being able to get the view, so we'll save that hike for another day.
That's right. So now we'll make our way through the scenic route and go back to Seattle, which is not really seeing the best of its days. It definitely has seen better days. So we're spending almost the entire year outside of the city.
I don't regret it one bit.
That's true. We have explored our state better than any other year. We have hiked more than any other year. We got a really nice car to do this kind of lifestyle. So things are improving for us regardless of the debacle we're all stuck in globally.